Birds asleep amidst the trees. Bats all a swaying in the breeze. But one so light and just wide awake, fearing all manner of ghouls, hags and wraiths. For your dolly Polly sleep has flown, don't dare let her tremble alone. For the witcher, heartless cold, paid in coin of gold. He comes, he'll go, leave naught behind but heartache and woe. Deep, deep woe. It's all silent for the night. Cows turned in as daylight dies. But when so light I'm just wide awake, fearing all manner of ghouls, hags and wraiths. My dead dawn will fall.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Haunted Connection show. We're bringing this to you from the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre in Hinckley, Leicester, and we're going to have a good chat tonight. One of our favourite subjects: demons, angels,
You're waiting
and
for it to
death.
come across.
No, I already
All
read
right.
it earlier. Demons, angels, and death. A subject quite close to our hearts.
Not the death bit.
So, as usual, all your comments, all your thoughts, all your experiences, anything that you want to share with us, then put it all in the comments below, and hopefully we will have a good discussion, because it seems to be quite a good topic at the minute.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we can. I know you're going to ask me to start.
Yeah, of course then. So, Jane. Let's start with you.
One of the things I'm just going to say is that everybody knows about our demon files. So that's a really good project that we're doing at the moment. We've done 15 episodes so far.
15.
15
Wow.
we've done so far, and obviously we're going to continue with those. Also, I've recently just written an article in the Haunted Live magazine, so if you've not got yours yet, go out and buy one. You can get one from here, or you can get one from WH Smith's if they're a stockist, and go and buy your Haunted Live magazine.
They can even get them from airport lounges as well now.
Ooh.
Some airports. That's how
Yeah,
big
so
the
if you're
haunted
sitting waiting
magazines
to go on
come in.
holiday in the lounge, go and buy one. Because I've recently written an article in there all about our encounter with Mr. Death. It was good. It was a Ouija board session where we tried to engage with something dark, and what we felt was like the Grim Reaper came through, and he
Yeah.
introduced himself as Mr. Death. So
That
was
was
a
a
good-
really good. That was the most enjoyable Ouija session.
it was also
I've ever
really
done.
like we learned so much, didn't we,
Yeah.
during the session? Which I think the more you learn during the session, the better they are. You can't, rather than just sitting there saying, "Oh, is there anybody there?" or "Copy this" or whatever. He was actually giving us information, and we were actually learning so much. So that was really good.
So please, everyone, make lots of comments. Otherwise, we're just going to ramble on.
Yeah. So we're
So-
talking
What's your opinions on angels then?
angels. I'm still sort of working out with angels.
Are they
I've got
good?
several
Are they bad?
experiences. I've got several experiences with angels, and angels did come around at a time when I really needed them, and they really did come around to help and heal, and I really felt the comfort from that. But are they the same angels that are in the Bible? They talk about fallen angels, the angels of God. Are they really? angels of God, or are they just energies and beings that have ascended to such a level where they bring healing and hope and comfort to people? So I'm still on the fence about angels. I haven't sort of had enough experiences or read enough to actually make up my mind. But, you know, there's things like in the book of Enoch where they're talking about this massive space where all the souls that are waiting to go into people's bodies, they're sort of kept by angels and stuff. And I'm still on the fence a bit, really. But you then read about things with the great war that was in heaven and the fallen angels, and it's all quite an intriguing, interesting subject.
Because the demon we spoke to Sunday night said angels were not good.
Well, some of the angels, I don't believe some of the angels are good, because if you look at like the angels that God sent after Lilith, threatening her to come back, or they were going to do this, that, and the other, and are they a creature that just acts on God's say so? And we know that God's not really a benevolent God. He smites people here and he smites people there, and smited them off the face of the earth, and he used his angels and messengers to do it. I think the angels must be quite a hard sort of character in order to just go and smite out a family of men, women and children and elderly people just because God says so. So
we don't know, do we?
No, but there's still so much more for us to learn, and there's so many books and experiences. And one of the things that sort of, I think, why we learn so much is because we sort of get the knowledge from books, but then we also have experiences ourselves here, where we can sort of form our own opinions and our own
that's true,
experiences.
Okay, and it's made a comment. I'm not sure about angels myself. I have a tendency not to believe anything that religion has stuffed out.
Yeah, you see, I don't know if the angels do actually belong to a religion as such. Has Christianity just sort of hijacked them and took them for their own? There's lots of texts, ancient texts, that said that there's this big war in heaven and the angels sort of fought each other and stuff. So were they aliens? Were they people that came to this earth?
Yeah.
And there was this big war, and some of the angels came down to earth to live and lay with men, the daughters of men, and to stay here. So were they God's angels?
So are angels mentioned in the Bible then?
Yeah, you got like in the Old Testament, you got the angel of the Lord, don't you, that appeared to shepherds on the hillside, and you've got the angels around the birth of Jesus. And
and that says angels but demons when they fell from heaven.
Yeah, they demonized them, didn't they? Well, it was said that God demonized them.
I personally, I think they all come from aliens. They're all aliens.
Well, that's pretty much my thinking.
And you see some of the drawings on cave walls and things, and even religious drawings and artwork. It looks like aliens with helmets on or carrying tablets.
Yeah.
No, even Moses. I don't know much about religion. I must admit, I admit it. Don't know the Bible. Moses came down with a tablet.
Yeah.
Was that actually rock, or was that
an
electronic tablet?
But Moses, when he was born, it was him, wasn't it? Because the Enoch was his grandfather, and his son Methuselah. When Moses was born, he went to Enoch, didn't he? And he said about how different his baby looks, because he had lights in his eyes and white hair, and he didn't look human. He talks about that, doesn't he? That's in the Bible.
Okay, and it says, I'd agree, aliens.
But also in a lot of the Indian temples, there's carvings and things of men actually riding dinosaurs, and there's even cave paintings of men riding dinosaurs. We've been around for hundreds of thousands of years, and they've recently found footprints that are supposed to be. I'm not sure if it was like 1 million years old or something like that. They found footprints in rocks and stuff that are supposed to be so old that they're never going to. It's religion again, isn't it? They're never going to go back and say, actually, religion is all a load of rubbish. God's creation story, how man was created in 7 days, like 2,000 years ago, or however long it was.
That's
just
crazy.
Doesn't stand, does it?
It's crazy. So please leave lots of comments. Yeah, I've got no doubts we come from aliens, and all these religious things like angels and demons are aliens.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of information out there. On Monday when we did that book review, and my book was about the evil archaeology, about the artifacts that they found that's supposed to represent some of the demons. There's so many artifacts, there's so much information that science has, and that the Vatican has, and all the museums have, but they won't let us see it because they just say we're not ready for it.
Okay, and it says you should look into Tartars, the hidden time. That's something for you, Jane.
Okay.
And Sarah says, what's the topic tonight? We are talking about demons, angels, and death. Just a bit of a
just to cheer you all up.
happy topic tonight. So what do you think death is?
Well, to me, working with the spirit world, death is just really the next phase into our journey, because we just leave this physical body behind and our spirit goes on to the next one. And I do believe that in reincarnation, and time and time again, we come back into a human body. And one of the things that was quite profound for me, I mean, my dad died on the 10th of January in 2010, and my grandson was born on January the 10th, 2021. No, sorry, 2023. No, where are we? 2022.
We're in 2022 now.
Which was 12 years ago. Now, one of the thoughts that my new little grandson looks so much like my dad. And when I talk to him, and when I've tried several things, I have a conversation that sort of would involve things that my dad was aware of, and he looks at me, and it gets his attention. Now, whether that's just coincidence, I'm not sure. But one of the questions that I had was, when my dad passed away on that day, January the 10th, it's been almost exactly 12 years since the baby was born. So although it's been 12 years to us, would it have been perhaps a matter of minutes in the spirit world? Or would it have been, say, 6 months in the spirit world? He left his body and he went back to the spirit world. I'm not saying it is my dad's spirit, but it just drums up so many questions and so much intrigue. Would it in the spirit world just been a matter of minutes if it was my dad and he came back?
Yeah. Okay, good one. This is from Bloss. I agree, you are from Aliens, man. Sarah says, bit of a combination. We like, as Sarah, we'd like to mix things up. We've got Shawnee from Ireland watching. Thanks for joining in again. And it says a transition. I believe we come back. And 2. Amanda says, I don't have fear of passing over, but some people have their own beliefs. Yeah, everyone has their own belief, and they're quite entitled to their own beliefs. We just say as. Some things you probably won't agree with, but hopefully lots of things you do agree with what we're saying.
I think that's the main thing, isn't it? People fear of the passing, and that's where like the Grim Reaper comes from, and he brings in fear. and this perjury in heaven and hell and religion, and if you don't do everything good, you're going to be stuck in perjury and you're never going to go to heaven and all this stuff. And I mean, I don't think people should fear death. I think the only thing, one of the biggest things we fear is leaving people behind who we love, and leaving your kids behind, leaving your partners behind, that sort of thing. And that is one of the biggest things that we fight for in order to stay alive, I think.
Yeah. Do you think things like the Grim Reaper have done to make humans fear death because of the Bible? Is that another religious?
You see, I'm not sure the Grim Reaper is actually a religious figure, is he? He's more folklore and that sort of thing, and people have over time have developed this folklore about the Grim Reaper coming to reap your soul, and he's got to take payment and all that sort of stuff. Whereas we now believe that that's not true because of our own experiences. So I think sometimes you just got to try these things. And we talked about this, how we're programmed and how we're told things, and we take it as gospel, and that's we just go with it. We don't actually say, well, actually, where did that story come from? Who actually made that up? What is that all about? And that's one of the things that we like to do, is challenge all those things.
Okay, Kevin says the fear comes from the unknown, so people fill in the gaps with what's out there. Yeah, definitely. And unfortunately, what's out there isn't always real or the truth. Has anyone else come in contact with Mr. Death doing their investigations? Any of the watchers, let us know. Have you come across the Grim Reaper like we did in the attic room?
Yeah.
But we are in a unique situation, aren't we? Because we can do different things anyway. Obviously, in a haunted location, you're not going to invite death, are you? Because the owners might not like it. So there's no fear in dying.
I don't think so. If you're contemplating about your life being cut short, if you find that you probably, because most of us just live day to day, don't we? And we don't necessarily think about what would we do if we were only given a short amount of time to live, and what would you do? What would you do if you knew you only had a short amount of time to live? Do you make sure everything's in order for your family? Do you try and live your best life that you can, or do you sit there thinking about all the ways you could probably get out of it, around it? It's just, there's just so many things that go through your head, and this is where a lot of the fear comes from.
Okay, Sarah says, some people confuse shadow people with the Grim Reaper. Do you think there is any connection?
I don't. No,
I don't.
Because we've worked with shadow people, we've seen shadow people, and from our experience with the Grim Reaper or Mr. Death, they're completely different things in our experience.
Yeah. And after all, Mr. Death is as a busy lad. Because he says he doesn't just help the souls on humans or on this planet. He does it on other planets as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. And this is where I believe that some of the angels, because people say when they're, the family are there to meet them. When people leave their bodies, when people die, family are there to meet them. Angels are there to help them, that sort of thing. And I believe that is all true. I believe the angels come in and help. I believe your family's there. But I also believe that somebody has got to coordinate that process. It's not just we sort of perhaps assume it's a thing that's perhaps automatically triggered, but is it? Or is it somebody like the Grim Reaper? We call him Mr. Death.
Mm-hmm.
The information that came through to us was like he was the manager, if you like, that oversaw the process. And sometimes things do go wrong, but he oversees the process to make sure that your family's there, some angels are there, you know, people are there to meet you, that you go transition back to the spirit world in the right way. And you know, that was the sort of information that we got.
I must admit, the information we got did make a lot more sense
Yeah,
than what we've been taught over the years.
yeah. You know, the spirit world is something that's been established over millions of years, I think, and it is a pretty good functioning sort of, you know, system.
Yeah. Okay, Kevin says, I'll read the second one. I ran a crematorium in my last job, which was an interesting process, but makes you think. We all end up the same no matter who you are in life. Doesn't matter how rich you are in life, you're still going to end up either burnt or in a box.
Yeah, and we can't avoid it. You know, we're all going to end up there one day.
Yeah. So there is only two options in this country: on fire or buried.
Lord, I don't fancy either of them, to be honest. Well, you can't you get stuffed in a tree now and
No.
sacked and put under a tree yet?
That's still buried, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Ross says,
Unless,
I hope they are there to meet you.
but you're gonna be different anyway. Well, aren't we having you stuffed and put in the corner?
I wanted to, but it's actually against the law. I've actually looked into it now. And I was having a conversation with my mum, and my mum's, she's old fashioned, she's a little bit religious. So I don't tell her everything we do. I don't tell my mum everything that we do up here, especially with the demon. I know she knows we have summon demons.
Yeah.
But she's a little bit religious, and when I told her I just want to be stuffed or mummified and put in the corner, she said, no, you're not allowed to.
So is it actually not allowed then by law?
By law, in the UK law, you either have to be cremated or buried.
Oh.
So even if you're cremated, you end up in a box. And then, which is what Kevin says, you still end up in a box.
Well, we'll have to have you cremated then, and just put your ashes in the urn. Take it away, urn.
And it says
Put it on
it's
the
true.
shelf.
It says it's true. We come with nothing and we leave with nothing. Yes, that's very true. Sarah says, I'm not really one to usually watch some of these paranormal programs on TV, but I've watched one about members of the emergency services having paranormal experiences. Medics gave evidence of trying to bring someone back to life who had seen that person standing beside them.
Yeah. I have read quite a lot of accounts about where people have actually stood when they've been sort of yanked out of their bodies so quickly, when it's not been their time. They've actually sort of stood there and just trying to been looking at themselves while people are trying to revive them.
Yeah, it's weird. Kevin says that's why they say ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We come from dust and leave as dust. Vaughn says, have a face mask made. Richard, I think you mean Neil, and put on the wall in the corner. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Someone
I think we've got a spare dartboard somewhere.
That's a good idea. I'm going to suggest that to Julie when I get home.
Yeah.
Mix my ashes in some glue and get someone to mould my face.
Oh, if we need to do a death mask then, don't we? We need to do your face while you're alive.
No.
In plaster. We can do it. You can buy kits to do it in plaster, and then we can get your ashes and put them in resin. Amy can get your revenant resin and do you a revenant face mask.
No comment.
In resin.
Kevin says, I'm going into space as ashes.
Cool.
I think that's going to be the next thing.
Some people have them into rings as well, don't they? The ashes, because they're carbon. They have them made into diamonds and put into rings.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yvonne said you can be made into a ring or a necklace.
Yeah.
Kevin says, just don't have glasses or glass eye when cremated.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
No, not me. Yeah, I think I'm going to have a death mask made so I can
That's what we ought to
I
have
can
done. Put them on the wall.
I might have two made. One so I can see what this lot are doing at the centre, and one on the lounge wall above the TV.
Oh,
Sure, Julie would appreciate that.
yeah. Have it on your bedroom wall, and Julie will wake up and see your smiley face every day.
She don't normally. I don't smile in the morning. Kevin says you get a clump of ash. I think that's with the glass and. And it says, I don't care what they do with my ashes. I choose not to be here to see it. That is very true. I always said, I don't care what they do with my body when I die, because I ain't there, so I ain't really bothered.
Yeah.
So just put me in the cut if they want. Right?
Yeah. I thought about buying 4 little urns and then splitting mine between one each of my kids so they can have a bit each.
Sarah says Julie might not like that idea. I'm sure I can 100% say with certainty she wouldn't like that idea.
We'll just have to have that knitted doll in the corner.
What with my face on it?
Somebody made a doll. I say a doll. It's a life-size knitted doll of Neil, and it's even got ginger hair. It's up in the. Where is it? Up in the cupboard somewhere.
It's in the cupboard. It's coming out. Okay. I'm laughing because I've just seen Bloss's comment. I'll read that out in a bit. Yvonne says, I am going to be cremated and sold in my urn at a boot fair. I'm sure you'll fetch a lot of money, Yvonne. Becky says, I believe your soul goes somewhere better. Heaven, wherever that is. Your body is just a vessel to cremate or bury. It was my dad's funeral yesterday. I hope he's gone somewhere nice and peaceful. I'm sorry to hear about your dad, Becky.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
I know
but he will be around you.
I know we're laughing, but I know it's a serious business, and you never get over it. Unfortunately, my dad's been past 32 years.
Yeah,
and I still miss him.
12, and I miss him every day. You never get over it.
But I'm sure he's around you.
Yeah.
Bloss says we'll take you down the tip. Kevin says the interesting thing was different choices of music at funerals, some really interesting ones, especially if celebration of their life. Yeah. What music would you have playing?
Oh, I'd have things.
If you're being cremated, you wouldn't have Great Balls of Fire, would you?
No. I think one of the things I'd have would be something like Pink, A Million Dreams.
I don't know that one.
Yeah. I do that.
I've already told my mum this. I said I'll have Highway to Hell.
Did she give you a backhander and tell you to go and sit?
I thought she was going to. She snapped at me. First time she snapped at me since I was a flipping kid. Amanda says, I lost my mother when I was 12 in 1977. She went horse riding in Anstey. I've often wondered because it was roadside accident. Would she still wander that road to protect others? That's over to you, Jane.
Maybe she might. But also she would be around her loved ones. I bet she is very much around you, watching you growing up, watching you just doing what you do. If you've got any brothers and sisters, she'd be around them as well. You know, she won't be around you all of the time, but she would spend time between all the family and loved ones. You know, they would probably go in and sort of, if she's got parents left, she'd probably go in and see her parents, spend some time with them, go around and see all her children. If grandchildren come along, she would be spending time, the family celebrations and stuff, she would be there. And occasionally she would probably go back to the road.
But that would be a nice thought, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if there was somebody on the road.
If she goes back to help others where that accident took her life, it would be nice thought that her mum is going there to help somebody else that they don't.
Yeah, and it would probably be done in different ways. If somebody, say, was on a horse on the road, you know, she could probably appear further up the road to distract a driver
Yeah.
to make him slow down or think,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
was that? What did I just see to slow down? There's lots of different ways that they can work.
Yeah, but I agree. That would be nice. Becky says, I hope he joins me on a ghost hunt sometime. He probably will, because my dad's been seen a few times here, hasn't he? Not on a ghost hunt, but he's been seen standing behind me up the centre.
Yeah, and on a few of the seances that we've done, loved ones, family members have come through, and we even had someone come through, and the chap was a complete skeptic, wasn't he?
Yeah. Changed his life, didn't it?
It changed his views. Certainly, he had something else to think about when he went home.
So, Kevin said that's the thing. People make a will, but no idea they have to have music at a funeral. Becky says hubby's friend had convoy. He was a trucker.
Yeah.
Bloss says I want Freebird. Leonard Skinner.
Yeah,
classic.
that's a good one.
And then Becky says Hubs is having bad moon rising. And that says, my partner chose always look on the bright side of life for his funeral. He made them all laugh.
Oh.
But I like that sort of thing, though, isn't it? Because
I think so. And that's that fun, that laughter, that love, and the memories will keep them all close to you.
One says my funeral music is "Hello" by Lionel Richie. And Bloss says Vic found out it was my grandmother with Benji. That's good. Yeah, I'm sure your family are always around. Not always, but they do come round you. Do you think spirits can be in two places at once?
I don't believe they can, because it's an energy. Your energy, really. You know, if you think of your energy moving around, you know, this is your soul, this is your spirit, which is inside your physical body. So that energy is sort of released once it leaves your physical body. I don't believe that energy can be in two places at the same time.
Okay.
I've never come across it.
I have known people to believe that.
But that's also a similar sort of thing about residual energy, isn't it? Where it's sort of residual. They say that the memory is replaying from the original spirit because it's trapped in the stone and stuff like that. It doesn't sort of compute with me, because it doesn't feel right. It doesn't. I don't know how your spirit can be off in the spirit world, and yet your energy is trapped in the stone. You can't be in two places at the same time.
Okay. Biff says my granddad wanted to listen to Pink Floyd when he passed. I guess comfortably numb doesn't seem appropriate. Bloss said, Hattie, it's all right now for my husband.
Oh.
Becky says, I'll get someone to text everyone from my phone at the funeral saying thanks for coming. That's it. I like that one. that would
People apparently have had messages and things, haven't they, from phones from their loved ones.
Yeah.
You know, there's phones that have been sort of switched off and in drawers and that for several years, and then they've had a message come through.
Kevin says, I had ice cream seller funeral and we had 35 ice cream vans playing their tunes.
Oh, I bet that would have been good.
And Bloss says, nice one. Oh, yeah, all right now is a good one. Yeah. It's interesting to see everyone's sort of got a sense of humour.
Yeah.
For music at the funeral.
But that's how we should see it, I think. When somebody dies, we shouldn't see it as sort of the end, and treat it like, you know, they've sort of gone once and for all. We should treat it as a celebration of their life. You know, we should look at it as a celebration of the life and everything they achieved and all the, you know, family. And when I say achievements, it doesn't have to be, you know, academic or through work or anything like that. Achievements, you know, even your children and, you know, your family life is a massive achievement to sort of keep your family together, to keep that love going, you know, all the things that we don't necessarily, that we take for granted. And I think it should be a celebration of that person's life.
Yeah. Yvonne says, I will put 35 phones in my coffin and get everyone to ring me. Oh, I'd love to see the vicar's face.
The ringtone was knocking. You know, it's knocking. Ring it.
Oh, I hear you knocking.
Yeah.
I something I did tell my mom, I've told you as well, I don't actually want a funeral when I die.
No, some people are going for that sort of way, aren't they?
Yeah, I've got no interest.
Oh, some people. I've been to a funeral recently, and that really wasn't a funeral as such. It was just more like a memorial service as such. It was more talking about. Well, I'd say it was a celebration again of their life, just talking about what they'd done, what they achieved, their kids, and you know, the sort of life they lived, and everything else. And it wasn't a religious service. It wasn't. It was just a room where sort of family and friends were gathered to just talk and just remember that person, and that was just really nice.
Okay, a few more comments. Biff says, I've always fancied Queen Who Wants to Live Forever and Mike and the Mechanics, the living years when I go. Yvonne said, knock on wood. Kevin says, especially 435 phones get answered.
Ooh.
Annette says, we had a humanistic service. I don't actually know what that is, Annette. Let us know. Kevin says, most services now are a celebration of life rather than religious. Yeah. I think so. So yeah, I don't really want a funeral. I don't want any fuss.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'd be quite happy if you just put my body in a black plastic bag and dumped it. Because I ain't gonna be there, am I?
No. I don't think you can do that though.
No, it's not allowed. So, okay. And that says it's a non-religious but a celebration of life.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's nice.
So, would you come back and haunt people?
Oh, absolutely. If I could, I would.
I
Bit of mischief there going on.
No difference now then, is it? I have a whole list of people I'd like to haunt.
I'd like to go every now and again and just
Slap
listen
people
in on a few things, and then just bugger things up a bit for a few people.
Okay, Kevin says you can have a direct funeral, no guests. Yeah, I've read about them, Kevin. Becky, a lot of us spoke of our memories at the service. Was lovely memories keep you alive in part.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest things that keeps people with you, and that those memories and that love, and just sharing fun stories about people.
Yeah. Bloss says, told you down the tip. Yeah, but would I be in the non-recyclable or the organic? It's got you all thinking now, isn't it? Biff says under the patter, but Julie might have to bump you off for that one. Don't give her ideas.
I think once you are buried or cremated, is there any rule that says where you have to be buried or cremated?
I don't know.
Because people used to, in the past, people used to have their own little cemeteries. You know, if they lived sort of in biggish houses, they used to have their own little like burial plots at the end of the garden or in the corner of the estate or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that some people have been buried in their own gardens, haven't they?
Yeah, and that says I'm staying just long enough to worry some people. I would love to come back and haunt the people who crossed me through my life. There's a few. Becky says my dad always said, "Save your money, put me in the bin." Exactly. It's really expensive to be cremated now. It's over 1,000 quid.
Yeah, you see, if the law says you've got to be buried or cremated, somebody's really got to do that, haven't they?
It's another money snake making scheme, isn't it?
And everybody's got to go through it.
Okay, Yvonne says, my friend had a white coffin and everyone was given a Sharpie pen on the way in, and we all went and signed a casket.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That's nice. Bloss says, non-recycled.
You'll be in the black bin then.
Yeah, you're put your name on my list. Be careful. Kevin says, you can be scattered anywhere but need to be buried on consecrated grounds.
Ooh, I don't think I'd.
I don't want to be buried. Becky says, wasn't going to have a funeral. One of them take you away, cremate you things, but I said no. Kevin says, cremation about 4,000, burial about 7,000.
Well, God loves you and he always needs your money.
He wants your money, doesn't he? Bloss
You've
says
got to
she's
be in
frightened.
consecrated ground.
Yeah, be frightened, Bloss. Yeah, so.
Aren't they building a new crematorium along the A47 in Hinckley?
I heard they were.
Mm.
I don't know where. Because, you know, if you get cremated in the Creme in Nuneaton, you have to pay Warwickshire County Council as well. So I've heard.
As well as Hinckley?
Because you're going out of the county.
Ooh.
That's what I've heard. I might be totally wrong, but. So yeah, I am coming back to haunt people, so be careful what you say to me, Bloss. Oh, Becky says, the thought of being buried to me is a no-go. I don't want bugs crawling up my bum and out my ears. Moving swiftly on. That's not a nice thought though, is it, Becky? Kevin says you pay resident or non-resident rates. Okay.
Mm.
So if we're not resident in Nuneaton, we have to pay more, I guess. Flipping.
But the other Crem's Cantersthorpe, isn't it?
Flipping codders.
And that's Blaby Council. So Hinckley and Bosworth Borough
We ain't
Council
got
haven't
one.
actually got
We're
their own
stuffed no
Crem,
matter
have
how we go. Plus says absolutely petrified. So who would you haunt then?
Oh, I think a bit like you. All them people that have crossed you.
Oh.
All those people that talked about you behind your back.
Oh.
All them people that did you wrong in jobs and, you know, stood on your shoulders to better themselves.
Yeah.
Taking your work, passing it off as their own. I had a manager who did that. I went to him with this idea. It was a great idea. We sat down, we discussed it, and then he turned around and said it was a load of rubbish. Well, like 3 weeks later, he launched it as his own idea.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
I'd go and kick him in the balls, good and proper.
Bloss says the new one is Leicester Road, near her. And that says, I'd like to make up a Randall and Hopkirk team when I pass over. Solve crime from the other side.
Yeah, that'd be really
That's
good.
fantastic. I love Randall and Hopkirk.
Yeah, you see, that's what you could do. If I'm still around, you can help me.
Yeah.
Sort out loads of answers.
So you'll be Randall. Rowley and Packer.
What do you mean you're tired? Get back out there. Get on with it.
I'll be coming to you in the middle of the night, kicking your bed. Get up, we've got a problem to solve.
Bugger off, wait till the morning.
Kevin says the crematorium at midnight is creepy. Oh,
I bet.
I bet it is. I don't.
And I bet it's so quiet.
I don't think I could go there. So do you think places like crematoriums are possibly haunted?
Probably not. You know, we've had this
It's
discussion
just the thought,
about.
though, isn't it?
We've had this discussion about graveyards and things. You know, there's probably a couple hanging around the graveyard, or
Yeah.
You know, I always thought the haunted graveyards are the ones that sort of died awfully, perhaps in the graveyard, like being buried alive or something like that. You know, like in the Victorian times. But in my experience, most graveyards don't hold anything, because who wants to stay in a graveyard with their decaying body? You'd be back home with your loved ones, and
Yeah, but graveyards are nice and peaceful, aren't they? They are nice places.
yeah, but you wouldn't want to stay
I'd be a bit
if
scared
you've
there.
just been sort of torn from your family as such. You know, and you've got the ability to go back, and your energies, you know, you can be with your family.
Yeah.
You'd do that, wouldn't you, rather than just
Or
sitting in an
just
old...
go and haunt somebody who's crossed you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got to do them rounds first. And then keep going back for a bit more.
My biggest disappointment, well, it's not disappointing, is when I was 11, went to high school, middle school, I was really badly bullied, and I did take my revenge, but I would haunt him, but he's dead, so I can't.
Oh,
He
you
died.
can just beat him up when you get to the other side. Then. Yeah, but as energies, you wouldn't really have physical bodies, would you?
No. Becky says, whatever happens, I'm coming back to mess with people.
Oh yeah, but I'm sure so many spirits have said this before. You know, it's human nature, isn't it? You know, if somebody's done you wrong, and you can go back and just mess with them up a bit.
Yeah. Kevin says, we'll come see you guys soon, I promise. Yeah, it'd be nice to see you, Kevin, in person. Kevin says, not haunted, but it's the process, and what you see is unusual. Yeah, I imagine that they are scary. Same as morgues.
Yeah, you see, I should think any process around death and dead bodies as such would be, because we're shut away from it, aren't we? It's one of those things that sort of happens behind closed doors, and we're all just not familiar to seeing it. Whereas like places like India, where they build pyres and burn bodies on the shores of the Ganges and stuff, you know, you're used to seeing it, and you've been brought up with it all, and everything else. You'd have a different frame of mind and a different view about it.
Becky says, our undertakers say stuff happens there. A man always turned radio off, as didn't like music at all.
Yeah.
And Kevin says, but the process is so respectful. Yeah, I imagine it's respectful. Bloss says, see you soon. Going to watch Lucy Worsley about the princes in the tower.
Ooh.
Interesting.
That'd be interesting.
Annette says, just wait till I go. Poltergeist will have nothing on me. Now you mentioned poltergeist. Has anyone ever come across a full poltergeist? So what does poltergeist mean?
It means sort of, is it noisy spirit
or
something?
Noisy ghost.
Yeah.
It's German, isn't it?
Same thing.
What do Germans know about the dead?
You know, in Europe and that, they were pretty sort of horrible to people, criminals, witches, and all sorts of stuff. You know, they often burn people alive just for the fun of it. They didn't just burn one person; they'd burn the whole crowd.
Yeah. But poltergeist, is that when spirits move things?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like that sort of kinetic sort of energy, isn't it? And they throw things and everything else. But I've never come across one. I don't believe it's a separate spirit on its own. I think it's just another label, like demons and stuff like that, that Hollywood has perhaps got hold of.
Yeah.
You know. Again.
Yeah, because we have poltergeists. We have spirits move things, but we don't class them as poltergeists, do we?
No. Because when we've connected with those energies, they've never been anything different. They've perhaps been human energies, or they've been creatures, or they've been something else. You know, because we can sort of see what they are and identify them. It's not come up as like, oh yeah, this is a poltergeist.
Because you always
categorized it.
You naturally think the poltergeist is evil,
something,
don't you?
Yeah, and something, but malevolent.
Becky said, I'd love to work in a funeral parlour, would chat with them all. You sound our sort of woman. Yvonne says, noisy ghost. Kevin says, poltergeist normally frustrated spirit with strong energy. So yeah, it is just a label, isn't it?
Yeah. But then you see, if it's noisy ghost and it's or it's spirit, you know, ghost is supposed to be residual, isn't it? If you're going into those sort of terms.
Yeah.
So is it supposed to be a noisy residual energy, or
Weird.
I think a lot of the terminology does need to be looked at.
And it says, I think poltergeists are blown out of all proportion.
Yeah.
I think we agree with that. Kevin says, good night, both. You have been amazing as usual. Okay, good night, Kevin.
Good night, Kev.
Thanks for all your contribution as always. Biff says, why not get burned on a Viking longboat, Neil? Although knowing how shallow your pockets are, it would be a two-man dinghy.
And we'd have to blow it all up first.
Sounds good to me, actually. What, on the cut?
on the canal.
Well, you're posh saying canal. I'm commoners. We call it a cut. We used to go swimming in the cut when we were little. Wouldn't do it now. It's full of junk, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'll just claim I'm a Viking, and then you can set fire to me going down the cut.
Put your shield and your sword in there with you.
Yeah. I'll
put your favourite dresses and stuff. Vikings used to wear like the skirts and the dresses and that, didn't they?
I just read Yvonne's comment. Yvonne says, I have a podcast in my house. It lives in the fridge and keeps stealing food middle of the night. Oh, God, they're a weird bunch of watchers, isn't they? And it says, I think a lot of myths have been spread about spirit throughout time to stop people looking into it. I think you're right there, Annette. I think religion and Hollywood especially, and people like that do want to stop us finding the answers, like the demons and angels.
I would agree.
Especially the demons. Demons were sent to, that's a label. We believe that they are aliens.
Yeah.
And the powers that be don't want us to know about it, do they? Because people do get scared of demons.
Yeah.
And that's how they like
that's how people have been programmed.
They keep control through fear. God, soon we'll have the men in black coats coming one day, won't we?
Yeah. I hope it's Will Smith.
We'll have to, when we finish the demon files, we'll have to do the angel files.
Oh, we've got a few others lined
We've
up.
got others. We do have others lined up, and hopefully soon we're going to have time to do them all. So we're looking forward to that. So, any more comments? But yeah, labels are awful, aren't they?
Yeah, you see, I believe that the spirit world is so much simpler, and the paranormal world is a lot simpler than people sort of believe, really.
Yeah. Is that because they wanted to make it, the powers that be or the people that know want to make it as difficult as they can for the peasants like you and me to find out?
No, I think it's been complicated along the way because people have found out information, and then they've sort of tried to, through science, even though they're not scientists or anything like that. You see a lot of people saying, oh, well, I believe more of the scientific side and this, that and the other. And, but even things get made up to make things fit or to fill the gaps or to try and justify what people have seen and what they've experienced. And
yeah.
I don't think it's as complicated or, as difficult as that.
No, I don't. I agree with you. But I also believe the church still has an awful lot of power.
Yeah.
Now, religion isn't as a wide a belief as it used to be, but church, no matter what religion you're in, whether it's Catholic, Church of England or whatever, they still have so much power.
Yeah. And at what point are we going to get when there's so much evidence out there, about how long we've been around and that, God's creation story really isn't true?
Mm.
How far are we going to go before Christianity actually says, actually, we can't defend this anymore?
Yeah. I must admit, doing the Demon Files has made me look at a lot of things completely different.
Yeah.
I don't like watching films where the Catholic priest, exorcist, and the demon I just think, oh no, not again. Someone needs to do a film based on the demons aren't bad.
Yeah.
Whether it's actually been
Or
done,
do
I
you mean
don't know.
based on the truth?
Based on exactly, James. Based on the truth. That would be a good one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And it says that will be interesting to see the difference between demons and angels. Who are the worst?
Well, I think they're both. I think that they both have good and bad on in both their armies.
Yeah. So is it possible that you got demons, you got angels? Were they two different alien species?
Well, if you sort of take the Bible's account where they were all, if you like, one species, and you've got God, and then some of the angels rebelled against God, didn't they? So the big war was against, the angels that were loyal to God and the angels that rebelled against God.
A bit like the Civil
So you
War.
had so you had this sort of civil war, and then all the fallen angels were kicked out because a lot of them wanted to lay with the daughters of men and stay in.
And who can blame them?
And it's their children then were supposed to become the Nephilim, the giants who were supposed to eat people and do cannibalism and all. So it's been portrayed right from early on that this was all wrong. But if you actually came in with an open mind and you looked at it in a different way, was this one big species of sort of aliens that came to us? And God could quite easily have been, the chief in all of that. And, there was this sort of rebellion because they didn't want to mix races.
Mm.
And some of the aliens wanted to stay here on Earth and make a life and live with the people. And some of them didn't. And God forbade it. And so there was this big war. And, they're all kicked out and demonized and called fallen angels.
Mm. Amanda says, so when we die, do we come back as a demon or angel to keep things going?
No, we don't. Well, we don't sort of come back as either, because the demons and the angels, they're already there. They're who they are, and they've been the same for thousands of years since this happened. So, no demons are ever created or destroyed, and the same with the angels. They continue going on, and this is why immortal. You can't. That sort of thing. Their spirit and their energy carries on, because even though over thousands of years people have tried to banish demons, destroy them, they haven't. Why is it? Why do we still have demons? Because none of them have been banished or killed off or made to disappear. They're all still here. It's their spirits and their energies that are all still here.
You think if you listen to the Catholic Church, all these exorcisms that's taking place.
Yeah, so when they exorcise,
they don't do a lot, then, do they?
Well, when they exorcise a demon, they don't actually kill it, do they? And it disappears.
No.
They just drive it out of the person, and it just goes off wherever.
Goes poof,
poof, and then it's gone.
Okay, and it says they are the old ones.
Yeah,
yes,
they're ancient. Yeah,
and that's what they've told us. And probably other people have done this sort of thing before, but I've never known any sort of paranormal team or people like us to do anything like this. Because
then you also had the group called the Watchers, and they were all
confusing me.
They were all involved as well. So there was a lot going on back then, but none of them were ever destroyed or created. You can't create a demon. They were all ancient energies that have been around for such a long time.
So with the what's her name, Emily Rose exorcism.
Oh yes.
One of those demons was supposed to have been Hitler.
Yeah.
How does that work? Or is that just a load of
I mean, if you sort of look at it, because one of them was supposed to be Judas Iscariot as well, if I remember. So, I mean, she had a lot of mental problems anyway, didn't she? There were supposed to be mental issues involved. But what is to stop? If something happened, she could have quite easily, say she was sensitive, she could have quite easily have picked up on energies or spirits around her and being in the state that she was sort of in, she could have quite easily have thought that perhaps one was Hitler, or it could have been, it could have been Hitler, if he'd have, but we will never know.
No.
But you're going on the sort of, there was tape recordings, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And these people said who their names were.
Yeah.
But they could have quite easily have been the spirits of these people that came around, or they could have just been. It could have just been energies and mental health issues and other things like that.
Yvonne says poor Emily Rose was epileptic and never treated.
Yeah,
I think
it was awful.
It is sad, but I don't think she was possessed by demons.
And she was starved
Perhaps
and beaten.
Perhaps she was possessed by her own demons.
Yeah.
That's quite philosophical for me, isn't it?
But one of the demons actually said that, didn't they? That we do all have our own demons, but they're all within.
Yeah.
They're all sort of our own creation.
Yeah, on that note, it's 9:00. So it's time for us to go home. And we're going to say thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for all your comments. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about next week, because I think we're running out of ideas, really.
Yeah.
So if you're any particular subject you'd like us to have a chat about next week, let us know, and we'll talk about that. So we're going to say goodnight, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Was asleep in midst the trees.